Hey guys, it's Rob here. Today I'm going back to my roots and returning to an area that was my very first history video, Charlotte, North Carolina. This is an area that I do value quite a bit, seeing as one of the locations here got me into the fandom, and like I said before, was my first history video. Charlotte has become even more special of an area since I covered it a year ago, for a couple reasons you'll see later. Not only do I have updated info, but also new info to discuss. As usual, I've gathered information from multiple different sources, which I'll be linking in the description. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, as in the next video, I'll be going over a recent grand reopening I went to. Anyways, let's get into the history of Showbiz Pizza Place and Chuck E. Cheese in Charlotte, North Carolina. 4120 Independence Road location opened on March 30th, 1982 as a Pizza Time Theater. They opened with a balcony stage, and likely would have had either Harmony Howlett or Madame Oink upon opening, based on the show tapes circulating around the time. Since the last video, there was quite a bit I've found in regards to photos of this location. Firstly, this photo from April of 1982 shows off their chuck walk around, wearing the typical derby and vest. We also figure out from the article this photo is found in that the manager was Rick Dunn. Another article proves that their cabaret act was the King. We also figure out that this location, alongside Raleigh, was sold to corporate in early 1983, with the franchisee being Pizza Entertainment Centers Inc., before it was sold to corporate. They would receive Helen by 1984, which is proven by a photo from August of 1984, where we can see the Chuck walk around again in front of the balcony stage, where we could see the Chuck cyberamic in his bandstand outfit. Unfortunately, this location would close in October of 1984, which the Smart article details. After this, the building would be occupied by another unknown tenant, and eventually would be demolished in 2002, with the space being used for a highway expansion, which is what the area remains as of August of 2024. As for the bots, they would be auctioned off, and we don't know what happened to them after that. Although a Jasper was found and sold at an antique store in Charlotte, that most likely was not from the Charlotte location, as again, it would have been auctioned off, likely at the auction in Texas. The 7701 Pineville Matthews Road location, often referred to as Pineville, originally opened on October 20th, 1982 as a Showbiz Pizza Place. This location was being planned as far back as early 1982, based on a couple of articles from the time, and was originally slated to open in September of 1982, though got pushed back to October for some reason. This location was also franchised by Adventure Restaurant Corporation, which is also the franchisee of other locations, such as Lynchburg. An article published the day after opening describes the location and gives us a picture of Center Stage, showing off their fast during that time. Upon opening, the location had 89 games, and the grand reopening happened on October 24th, 1982, which had free balloons as well as a giant hot air balloon outside, likely being the Showbiz Pizza one. Another article from mid-1983 gives us the picture of the interior, showing off the Billy Bob walk around during this time, as well as what appears to be the service counter near the entrance. Before we move on, I would like to say that these batch of photos are not known to be Pineville for sure, as the exterior picture being Greensboro, not Pineville, calls into question the validity of the rest of the photos being from that location, especially with interior shots like this definitely not looking like a Showbiz Pizza Place. An article from mid-1991 shows that the location had received the 1988 remodel by this point, painting the walls white, adding colored checkers, replacing older decor with newer decor, and likely changing the exterior to something like this. We can see this in a photo of the ball pit, where behind it we see a bit of the games as well as that wall, painted white, with the color checkers on the top half of the wall. Beginning in 1989, due to a fallout between Creative Engineering and Showbiz Pizza Time Inc., concept unification occurred, in which every Showbiz Pizza Place would convert their Rock of Fire Explosion band into Munch's Make Believe band. Pineville would be one of the vast majority of locations to undergo this change, receiving it in late 1991. We can see this from ads in late 1981, with the quote, "Come see our all-new stage show starring Chuck E. Cheese." Unfortunately, this location would close in January of 1993. Luckily, corporate decided to buy the location from Adventure Restaurant Corporation and reopen the location a few weeks later under the new branding of Chuck E. Cheese, changing their exterior to something like this. Footage from 1995 gives us our first look at the show after complete unification, showing off the games, the skytubes, or at least some predecessor to them, the showroom walls, the balcony seating, and a bit of the show, mainly Pasquale. Unfortunately, due to how often he's obscured, plus the fact that the rest of the stage isn't showing off well here, I can't properly assess their condition. We do see here that they received the major 90s remodel by this point, removing the colored checkers, adding new decor to replace the older decor, and getting a new exterior, which I'll show you later. We also get to see their Chuck walk around during this time, that being the 90s head with a red derby and what seems to be some sort of athletic clothing with a tank top. Few pictures from 2005 show off the showroom, where we get to see a bit of the animatronics, where Chuck supposedly still had his Chuck's tire on by this point, but even now, I can't see Chuck here whatsoever, so I can't confirm that. We also see their walk around during this time, that being the Avenger Chuck one. We also get to see bits and pieces of Helen and Munch here, with one photo fully showing Helen off, who had gotten her plastic mask by this point, and with the other characters likely also having them as well by this point. During the mid to late 2000s, this location would receive the 2005 update to the 2003 Kolchak reconfiguration, painting some of the walls purple, removing older decor for newer decor, and tearing down the old showroom walls and balcony seating. The exterior remained untouched for the time being, as can be seen by a photo from 2008, where we can see their exterior has two Kolchak logos, both flipped to their respective sides, and also had an inverted awning, with the color checkers to the side of the entrance doors. Munch Jr. and likely Pizza Cam as well would be removed during the 2000s, with neither's whereabouts being confirmed. Footage from May of 2010 shows off the stage, where it seems to be in decent shape, with the main thing being the flows appearing to be a bit slow. Chuck is now wearing full Avenger attire here, including the cap. His jaw seems to not be properly adjusted, or at least the mouth lever isn't, as his mouth makes him look concerned. The location would remodel again in 2012 as part of the Carmel Commons Shopping Center remodel, with its exterior being majorly changed, with the entire shopping center being painted white and also reconstructing the exterior and giving it the Avenger Chuck exterior. It would also be around this time that the location would expand into the former tenant to the right, adding additional space for games and also extra seating. Around 2013, a new mask was given to Chuck, which had no eyebrows, and his triangular base would also be removed. Footage from 2015 shows the stage off, where they appear to be in solid shape, though they're only on random movements here, so I can't say that for sure. We see Chuck's new mask here, lack of eyebrows and all, and it definitely looks strange to say the least. He also no longer has his Avenger cap on, though still sports the rest of his Avenger attire. Footage from 2016 shows the bots to not be in too great of shape. Multiple issues can be seen here, such as the lack of movement with Pasquale and Chuck's left forearm not working and being loose. Footage from 2020 shows the bosses still being about the same shape, with Jasper's thrumming hand being out, and some movements being too quick, such as one of Helen's arm twists and Pasquale's right arm swing. The building his mask was also removed by this point for some reason, and still performed even without a mask, which looks weird. By this point, the taller zone and sky tubes would be removed due to a certain pandemic. Around 2021, a tech would be hired that would not only fix up the show, but also add many customizations to the show, a few of which still remain on the show to this day. Going over them quickly, Chuck would receive eyebrows back on his mask, Helen would receive the yellow hair as well as teal eyelids and her mask also getting a teal eye blush, Munch Jr. returning via a custom replica, a new cap for Munch, a new organ front similar to Huntsville's organ front, the organ legs being painted to white, the organ exhausts being changed to orange ones, Jasper receiving extra fur onto his mask and a new shirt with a different pattern on it. Scully's base being changed from silver trim to pink trim, a repaint of Helen, Munch and Jasper's shoes, the blue valance being swapped out for green valance from the Charleston, South Carolina location, the building receiving a new mask from the Columbia, South Carolina location, the base of the three-stage getting a one finish, and Munch Jr.'s can being spray painted black at the top. Some of these happened over time, though the majority would be added onto the stage between 2021 and 2022. We can see some of these changes in footage from late 2021, where the stage is still not in too great of shape, with movements such as Chuck's arm rotation being out. Footage from July of 2022 shows the stage in much better shape, and also that Munch had received a new mask by this point. Chuck is also wearing summer attire here, which is interesting to see. I first went to this location in June of 2023, where the bots were still in great shape, with the only issues being Jasper's body lean being out, the lack of hair movement on Helen, and Pasquale's arm flows being too slow, which is an issue that persists to this day. I returned a few months later in September of 2023, where Jasper's clothes and mask had been swapped out for his standard look again. The stage base would also start to see the wind theming added, starting with the top trim. I returned yet again in December of 2023, where Helen's mask and eyelid were now painted back to the standard purple they were before. Throughout all of this, the stage remained in good shape, albeit with the same issues that they had in June of 2023. In early 2024, the rest of the stage's base would receive the wood finish. In May of 2024, the location would be announced, alongside Hicksville and Springfield, to be receiving the Legacy Store treatment, meaning stores would keep their stages when they remodeled. In Pineville's case, the store would be a mostly standard 2.0 remodel, with the character posters being placed in between the stage and the video wall being placed to the right of the stage, with them receiving a 2021 model dance floor as well. Soon after, on June 18th, they would receive a pizza can from the Showbiz Pizza Time Distribution Center, which ended up being the one from Laurel, Maryland, which had come from Fairfax, Virginia originally, and replaced Laurel's original pizza can at some point. Not long after, it would become operational and its main issues would be fixed by July. Pineville also had its alcove area, originally used as a toddler zone and then being used for kiddie games, turned into a retro zone, where decor and memorabilia from the company's multiple different eras would be placed, with the walls of the alcove receiving all sorts of different art, and the back of the alcove receiving shelves that housed all sorts of smaller memorabilia, including a Tux Chuck statue. This was unique to Pineville, with none of the other legacy stores receiving this area. They would also receive a trampoline zone during this remodel, which would be placed in the expansion area. On July 26, 2024, the store would have its grand reopening, with a poster of Pineville stage with the band's signatures given out, as well as a pin similar to Northridge's. Mark Kupferman and I believe the district manager was also at the grand reopening as well, signing the posters. The grand reopening mainly consisted of a live performance with the Chuck Walk Around, a free cake slice, a free play card, raffles, and an hour-long show tape including multiple different songs of theirs, older to newer. As of August 2024, the location remains like this, being one of 5 legacy stores the company has decided to keep. 5612 Albemarle Road location opened in November of 1981 as a Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza, opening with a roast stage upon opening. They opened with the 1988 remodel, which would have had the color checkers, decor such as the parody posters, and an exterior that likely would have looked something like this. They would likely receive the major 90s remodel by the late 90s, receiving newer decor, getting sky tubes, and getting a new Cool Chuck exterior. Footage from 2001 shows us the location at the time, where we see the changes from the major 90s remodels such as the decor and sky tubes, but also some of the games, rides, and the road stage, which isn't in too great of shape here, with things such as Pasquale's eye being misaligned, one of his arms seemingly being broken, and the back of Chuck's head being gone. Interestingly enough, both Munch and Pasquale appear to still have their Pizza Time Theater arms by this point. We also get to see their walk around during this time, that being the 90s head Chuck with the red derby, but otherwise full Chuck attire. During the 2000s, presumably at least, we get to see an exterior shot of the store, showing off the Cool Chuck exterior. In 2009, this location received the 2005 update to the 2003 Cool Chuck reconfiguration, removing the showroom walls, painting some of the walls purple, removing older decor for newer decor, and changing the exterior to an Avenger Chuck exterior. The next footage we get of the store is from late 2013, where Chuck now has Avenger attire on, aside from the cap. He also has his eyebrows on, which is strange, and where they came from and why they were added onto the mask is not confirmed. Moving on to their condition, they're in great shape here, with the only flaw being the flows being too low in some areas, such as Pasquale's arms. Both Mudge and Pasquale's arms were converted by this point as well. Footage from 2016 shows the show in declining shape, with Mudge and Pasquale not moving a whole lot. Chuck also received Rockstar paints by this point, as well as Mudge receiving a new green and purple cap and Jasper getting a new black guitar. Footage from late 2020 shows the stage to be stuck on random movements, though it's unknown why this was at this point. Pasquale's mustache was now positioned upside down, and we also see here that the Wink's winking eye fell out of place. The Skytubes and Toddler Zone would also be gone by this point due to a certain pandemic. Footage from mid-2021 shows the stage to be working again, though now the air pressure appears to be too high, with movements going quicker than they usually would on a cyberamic. The stage is still not in too good of shape, with Munch especially not moving much here. The TV beside Chuck was also gone by this point. The stage only got worse, and by the time I visited it in June of 2023, it didn't perform on weekdays and was kept on random movements instead. Supposedly, it would only perform during the weekends for some reason. The cosmetics definitely took a dip though, with Pasquale especially looking the worst out of all of them here. In late 2023, Munch's purple and green cap would be removed, though Pasquale's mustache would finally be flipped back to normal. The Wings eye would be positioned back to normal by 2024, and the entire shopping center would be repainted around March of 2024, painting the location completely white. The show would also start to see a bit of a rise in condition, though this was cut short when the location started its remodel on June 2nd, 2024, where the world stage would be removed and the animatronics sent back to the Showbiz Pizza Time distribution center, where they likely still remain to this day. As for the location, they received a 2021 model dance floor and video wall. This was the last road stage in the US, and the second to last road stage overall. As of August of 2024, the location remains like this, with a 2.0 remodel. In conclusion, Charlotte is quite the interesting area, being home to the very last 3 stage after Billings, the second to last 3 stage, was removed just this past weekend, and Pineville is now one of 5 legacy stores to keep the stage. The cherry on top was being home to one of the last road stages, not to mention the last one in the US. Overall, this was a very interesting area to get to cover again. Thank you guys for watching this video. It was nice to get to go over this area again, especially after becoming so much more involved in the fandom and being able to update my first history video that needed an update so badly. My next video will be covering my time at Pineville's grand reopening, plus going over a couple of other locations I briefly visited on my way there. If you'd like to see that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you're notified when it drops. God bless, and I hope you all have a blessed day.